Hello, everybody. Welcome back again. We are now at the finals.
The final. Sorry, I'm just bringing up my Twitch just in case people want to chat. Shoot the breeze.
It's been fun. We've got some cool magic in. We've seen both of these players on stream already. Eric has been a staple. He's been he's getting a lot of airtime.
Yep.
So if we want to pull back it quick, we can see how we got here. So you can see we got Eric on Grixis Midrange and Nathan on Grixis Reanimator in the finals. Eric taking down Grixis Midrange. Jeskai Midrange in the first round. And then Paradox Academy last round there. And then Nathan taking down Medium Red. And then in the first round, beating Rick on Esper Reanimator.
Yeah. So, you know, it's all Grixis all the time in the finals here at the Enter the Battlefield Store Championship, Canadian Highlander Store Championship. But these decks ultimately are pretty different from one another. So first we're going to take a look at Eric's list. He's more of on the mid-range plan. I would say a bit more on the controlling end of that. So lots of 1/1 removal, lots of counter spells. The creatures that he plays are very impactful or gives him some kind of value. But ultimately, he's playing a deck that's very, single-minded. So, I think there's going to be some critical cards that he's looking for that are very disruptive. And then also some of his spells, the counter spells, the discard spells, as a way to make sure that Nathan isn't able to effectively combo off in the early turns of the game. And then maybe that translates to enough tempo so that Eric can kind of close things out.
Yeah, and in a kind of similar vein to his last matchup, a lot of these sort of board interaction-y removal spells aren't going to be fantastic for what Nathan's going to be presenting as threats.
Yeah.
So if he can kind of dodge hands with 2-3 copies of 2 damage, 3 damage, 4 damage spells, that'll probably be to his favor. Greatly.
Yeah. I do think that Nathan has a handful of things that, like smaller creatures, Ace Prodigy, Ledger Shredder, Rona, Herald of Invasion, like some things that Eric will want to remove if they come up, but like largely Eric is hoping for not a lot of hands with like Cut Down, Fatal Push, Lightning Bolts, like those are not really what he's looking for. He wants to have more of that stack interaction, ideally, I think.
Yep.
And Nathan, being on Grixis Reanimator, has a lot of these, massive creatures with pretty impactful enter the battlefield abilities or just abilities otherwise. I think Atraxa as like the more recent addition to this deck that really makes certain hands just go off the walls.
Yeah, you get to refill your hand. You have some crazy threat out there.
Yeah. And, again, he's playing a lot of these removal spells. Eric isn't so heavy on creatures that they're key removal spells here and there are going to be good, but again, Nathan's not going to want an overabundance of those. And one thing that I think we'll call out here is that both of these decks are running Reanimate. So this is open deck list. Both of the players have access to the other person's deck list at the start of the match. So, Nathan should see that Eric is running Reanimate, but if he's not careful, if he puts some big creature in the bin and Eric has kind of a slot to jump in and steal Atraxa or something, that's going to be crazy.
Yeah, that would be a pretty...
I kind of am hoping for that to happen just because it'll make for a good
make for good TV.
Yeah, exactly. But, it's going to be a really interesting match, I think, and we are going to jump over, I think, to some gameplay and take you to the finals and see who our champion is.
Yeah, have we figured out the mulligan situation? Looks like they might still be doing that. Yeah. There we go. We can do it live.
We're doing it live. It looks like looks like Nathan might be keeping, and Eric is shuffling. Camlander, the shuffling format.
Shuffling the format.
Yeah, shuffling the format. Mulligans, you're always shuffling, but like...
The big issue is you play a bunch of expensive cards, so you probably double sleeve, and there's 100 of them.
Yeah.
So you need big hands or...
Okay, so Nathan is on the play on 7 cards. Eric is currently mulliganing to 5.
Yeah,
so
looks like some of that sweet hand luck may be drying up on this one.
But
looks like he's keeping this. You do have tons of draw spells, so.
Yep, he has Ancestral Recall. Ancestral Recall is a great way to kind of unmulligan yourself, right?
Even a Vision on turn 1 here, I guess maybe that gets you some cards, but the Reanimate deck's kind of quick, so you may not want to wait till
So one thing that we have seen in some other games, but it didn't come up. It actually we kind of saw that it wasn't relevant or that he wasn't able to take advantage of it. Was Daze.
Yeah.
And it looks like Eric has Daze in his hand right
Yes.
now. So like if Nathan tries to go for something
Turn 2.
worthwhile and tap out for it, Eric is likely, I assume,
yeah.
fetching for a blue like an island here, and will actually be able to Daze that spell.
Yeah.
And that could be pretty
I got a
devastating.
volcanic.
So I mean, it's especially backbreaking if Eric is able to deploy some kind of threat
and
then back that up with the Daze, so that it's like putting pressure on his opponent. And I don't know if we're going to necessarily see something. He could have something like like Ragavan here would be insane, obviously.
Yeah.
Or like a Dragon's Rage Channeler.
Yeah, I think one of those two is what you're.
Oh, okay. That is a
Ponder?
Preordain, I believe.
Preordain.
Yeah.
There you go.
So we're scrying 2. Looks like we're keeping 1 on top. We're putting 1 on the bottom and drawing. Nice. And so again, the funny part about this as well is like it doesn't necessarily look like Eric is displaying that he has a counterspell, right? Like obviously Daze just bouncing an island to your hand to pay for its alternate cost.
Yeah.
Now,
You do know that they have.
Yeah, Nathan knows that he has not only Daze, but other spells as well, that Force of Negation, Force of Will. So Eric, even though no untapped mana, potentially representing like 3 different
your
free
opponent would know
counter
that you
spells.
have.
And Mental Misstep as well, actually being one of them. So 4 different free counter spells in Eric's deck that Nathan potentially has to play around. Okay, we're just passing back. I mean, obviously Nathan not in any rush, under no pressure from Eric to do anything. And Nathan himself is running a lot of these hand disruption spells where he can fire one off and see what's going on.
He's gonna want like either like a probe or a seize or something just to kind of figure out.
Oh. Okay, so we talked about how Eric can unmulligan himself, and he actually did draw and cast the Ancestral Recall. So now it's.
Oh, I can see he has the Force in hand as well.
And now
too.
he has. I think he had the Force in hand from the very beginning. So
he's got Force and Daze.
But so now, obviously, you want to have Ancestral Recall, and then, you want to start with 7 cards and then cast Ancestral Recall. But I mean, starting with 5 and casting Ancestral puts you kind of back
So far,
into
it's
it.
looking like if you were to go down to 5, this would be pretty close to ideal.
Right.
For what you could ask for.
I don't think he kept the Ancestral in his opener. I think
he drew it.
That.
Yeah.
So here
we got a looting.
We're seeing a Faithless Looting.
Step 1 of.
So he sees an Animate Dead, and so like here, if he pitches a reanimation target, and then tries to go for the Animate Dead, like he's gonna get got.
Yeah.
Pretty bad. Oh, he just pitches two lands.
Yeah.
Okay.
I think he knows that he can't do anything until he knows what Eric has, right? Like it's.
Yeah, that, and also I don't think I saw in Nathan's hand any targets, so he may literally just not have anything to put into play.
Yeah, because I don't think Eric's list is running any graveyard interaction, is it?
He is playing Cling to Dust.
Okay, so he's got one.
I think that's the main one. Eric also, from a board interaction perspective, has Sheoldred's Edict, so that's a good way to
get rid of
a big thing, which again, part of the problem of like the things that Nathan is maybe looking to reanimate. Atraxa gets value as soon as it comes to play. Gristlebrand, he can probably get value before it dies.
Yeah. I guess notably, Nathan's bin is going to be quite large as well too. So like Drown in the Lock would also work on something big potentially.
Now we were talking about playing something to get a peek at Eric's hand and maybe kind of work with that knowledge.
Yep.
He is casting a Thoughtseize. This is the Secret Lair. Beautiful card by Junji Ito, I think. Oh, sorry, he Mystical Tutored, putting that on top. So he's now going to
draw it now.
Play it.
Yeah. This is what he needs to do so that he doesn't just walk into.
Okay. Now,
netting 1 mana, like that's.
Yeah, I mean, it looks kind of weird, but realistically, that is to save the knowledge around the fact that he has Force of Will.
We got a Fury pitching
Daze.
iteration.
Yeah, and that was important as well because Eric played that Ragavan, and Nathan, other than removal spells, doesn't have a lot of ways to block.
Yeah.
So that's kind of how he has to take care of that. So Nathan now all of a sudden down to 1 card, drawing obviously netting 1 off the Brainstorm.
Yeah.
But like he's not not a bunch of resources
There's
to work with.
there's an animate dead in his
Yes.
hand.
Yeah, he's had that for a little while now.
Nothing in the bin though.
But whether he realizes it or not, Eric has him checked with the force of will.
Yeah.
I imagine Nathan will wait until there's like some good juicy targets, and then
Snapcaster.
he'll play the animate dead targeting the Fury, trying
This
to kill
is
some
nice.
stuff.
Snapcaster coming in, gonna be able to potentially draw
Oh,
3
the
more
Ancestral
cards.
Recall, yeah.
Yeah.
Dang. Okay. So all of a sudden, Eric is way up
Yeah,
on
the
cards,
yeah.
despite
The
mulliganing
Multi
to 5.
yeah.
And this is why Ancestral Recall is 7 points out of your possible 10.
Wow.
Yeah, and so like Eric just has it.
Just
kind
has
of
a
all.
Murktide sitting there. And that's
And-
not getting played anytime soon.
Oh no, he could play it.
Can he?
Oh yeah, he has plenty of cards to delve. The problem
Oh,
is
yeah,
it's
yeah,
going to get countered.
Yeah.
Actually, it's going to be really rough on Nathan is if he's like, well,
I just
I'm
go
not
for
using,
it, I don't have
no,
any-
like if he's thinking, I'm not using this mana for anything else, so I'll tap 3 lands and exile
Oh, and then it gets
4 cards and it
dazed.
gets dazed.
Yeah, that
I
would
think
be
we're
brutal.
probably going to see that. I would suspect. Really depends on what Nathan draws and if he thinks that.
No, I think that's
Okay, yeah, that's fair too.
That's a bit-
And
that
getting dazed is.
I think if
also-
you're Nathan, you're probably feeling.
No.
No, that's bad. Just
Why
he's done.
would
He's had enough.
Okay.
You're
That
up
feels
against 7 cards.
Yeah, but that feels.
But it
You're in
feels-
the finals.
Feels early. Yeah, you just go. There's even if there's a 0.5% chance,
Yeah,
maybe
you go for it,
You
right?
go for it, right?
Sorry?
Eric took game 1. There.
Eric took game 1. Yeah, I mean, I think that was a little hasty. Nathan being on 19, there's a Snapcaster in play, so 2 power. Like
Yeah,
you're
that's-
dead in 10 turns if you do literally nothing. If Eric does nothing else. I think you just play it out.
Yeah, who knows? Like he does have 7 cards. Maybe he doesn't have.
Maybe it's all
a counter
lands.
spell. Yeah, that's what I mean. And then you have the animate dead. Maybe you lost it there, I guess. So now you need to draw.
Yeah, but you
But
have
you
draws
can still run
too.
out the.
Yeah, you have the Murktide.
and
Yeah.
You just try.
If I was in Nathan's position, and granted, we don't know what they're talking about. Maybe something was that we don't see. But I think in that situation, I just play it out and hope to get something out of it. Or
Yeah, because what do you
Yeah,
can say like,
I
oh
know.
yeah, I have a counter spell in my hand, like, okay.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think it being the finals, maybe you run it like that. Let's be realistic. Like the chances of him,
he had very
Yeah.
low % chance based on what we saw of him winning. But
maybe he
for it.
values saving the brain energy
power. Yeah,
over the 0.2%
yeah,
chance of clawing back
That-
into that
that is
one,
fair.
which, like in a long tournament, like that makes a lot of sense sometimes. And
yep. He may have also been a little tilted, having his opponent mull to 5 and then draw 6 cards with Ancestral Recall,
Yeah,
flashing back Ancestral Recall. Like maybe he was just
Yeah,
like,
the-
you know what, let's move on to the next game.
I think the Snapcaster there was definitely salt in the wound. The recall draw, then you're like, okay, I guess he has cards again.
Yeah.
And then the Snapcaster comes in, it's like, okay, I guess he has all the cards.
Yeah, I think the popular phrase in the community is that it's never the first Ancestral, it's the second one. And a lot of the decks that play Ancestral play a lot of cards to recast Ancestral or get Ancestral or bring it back to your hand with, even Eric is playing Mystic Sanctuary, right?
Yeah,
Like,
where you can put it back on top.
yeah, just so many, Dreadhorde Arcanist, right? Like
Yeah.
multiple ways of recasting it because, while yes, drawing 3 is good,
Drawing 6 is better.
It's
Drawing 9 is
even better
Even
than
better
that.
than
Even
that.
better still. So, yep. I think we're going to go back down action here in a moment. Oh, yeah.
there we are. Looks like
Maybe Eric mulliganing.
maybe he just wants
once
5 cards
more.
again. He's like, I don't need 7.
Hey, I think I would take 5 cards knowing that Ancestral Recall is in like the top 3-ish cards or so. Like, I think I'd probably take that every time. And again, like we discussed, there's a lot of dead cards in Eric's list versus what Nathan is doing. And
Yeah,
so,
I'm sure he's gonna mulligan a bunch of the hands that he's gonna see.
Yeah, if he sees a hand with like a couple lands and like a couple removal spells, maybe that would be reasonable against certain decks. Against Nathan, you probably want to pitch that because that's just a recipe for getting comboed out or reanimated out pretty quick.
Yeah, and with Nathan being on the play notably as well too, like you're gonna need some sort of interaction quickly.
Yeah, and right now there is potentially an
There we go.
opportunity for Nathan to do something pretty backbreaking. Eric
The
on one
Vampire tutor
mana,
here.
and not critically also not having an island, so Daze is off the table. He could have either of the forces certainly, but really what he could otherwise be representing is maybe like Spell Pierce, right? Like it's basically Spell Pierce and the free pitch counter
Counter
spells.
spells,
Like
yeah.
that's what he is representing. So when your opponent has only 3 outs in the deck,
And
like
they
maybe you just go
mauled.
for it. Yeah,
like you're.
like if he can put something in the bin and reanimate it, I
You would just try.
think he might just go
No,
for it.
that's
Yeah,
fair,
that's
just go
also
play.
just a good card to play and get some value over time. Oh,
Wow, that's
and
pretty good.
and
Eric is.
you know, and I guess that's a bit of the mind play here, or like one upping your opponent, or was it next leveling your opponent?
Yeah,
Sorry,
that's
Rick. Nathan knows Eric's not going to want to keep these kind of removal spells, so he
He's
might
just
have
like,
kept
"Ah,
a
great."
hand with Ledger Shredder, thinking he was going to survive, and Eric's like,
Yeah,
haha,
fail.
got you
could've-
again.
Yeah, after them all down, maybe that's the one piece of interaction he had in there. He's like, yeah, you know what, whatever. The,
Yep.
the other 5 cards are good. Let's go.
And of the cards that Nathan has, where some of these removal spells are effective, Fatal Push is a great answer to them.
Ooh, Eric is light on lands.
oh.
Very light on lands.
So I'm very curious. This almost might scream to me like he does have Spell Pierce. Oh, okay. Maybe not Spell Pierce, but it looks like Eric has Reanimate in his hand. So that play that we discussed of Nathan thinking like, I'm going to pitch this big monster into my bin.
He's stuck.
Well, like he has to do it all in one
turn, yeah.
or else Eric potentially
Yeah.
pulls his big monster. I'm not.
We have a lot of hand
Maybe
gestures.
some discussion going on as to like
Me,
what's
you,
going
you,
on.
me. I'm you.
I think maybe the question here is because Nathan has 4 lands out, and I don't. Did Eric miss that many turns of not playing a land? Right.
I think he might have, yeah. I think they're just double checking. Bobby is at the table there, notably, so we do have a judge on site.
Yeah. So
No, it looks like everything's good.
All right. Okay. Just passing the
A
turn.
lot of pass go.
I mean,
Still
again,
no
Nathan
land.
is not under any pressure, and he does have a number of instant speed, like draw spells and stuff. Yeah, he's firing off with Sauron's Ransom, which I've never seen this resolved in real life, and I think this card is actually pretty sick.
It is in my Nazgul Reanimator
Yeah,
deck.
but that's more for flavor. Than
Yeah,
it
yeah,
is
yeah,
for,
yeah.
you know, like
I know.
this card does look pretty good.
I like all of the cards that sort of.
Factor fiction type
Yeah,
stuff.
yeah. They add a little bit of that pokery mind game. Read the opponent, gamble a little bit. Yeah. It adds a really cool element into the game, I think.
I mean, I kind of wish that Nathan was playing literal Factor Fiction. He is not, unfortunately. And I get it; it's 4 mana,
Yeah.
but it's so good. Maybe of a forgotten time, but Sauron's Ransom, if I'm not mistaken, you give the top 4 of your deck to your opponent.
Yep.
And then they split that into 2 piles. One of the
Correct.
piles gets shown face up to you, and the other is face down.
Yep.
And then you pick: do you want the face-up cards that you can see, or the face-down cards you can't see? So there's a lot of again, next leveling that you can do, right? Like, oh, do I show these 2 good cards, and then they think, oh, the better cards are face
underneath.
down, and then it's 2 lands, like. But Eric is also working with imperfect information. He doesn't know what Nathan has in his hand or what he's necessarily
and if
looking
there's
for.
The halves of Nathan's combo, for example,
Right.
in there, maybe he shows the half that Nathan needs, not
Right.
knowing, like, you know what I mean? Like, especially in a deck that's looking to do 2 things.
Yep. It looks like a land and something else. I'm not sure what that card is, but it went. Oh, that's Rona.
Yeah, that was Rona.
And then I'm not sure what he picked up, but he picked
the
face down
down pile.
cards.
So.
And that was on end step. So Eric is now in his discard phase. Missing again on land. And based on how the rules of Magic work, it had to be done this way. Like Nathan says, okay, on your end step, I'm going to cast a spell. Potentially Eric has like a response or something to get down below that 7-card limit.
Yep.
He didn't, and then so now we're back to that discard phase, and he discards.
Needing to
Dreadhorde
get back down
Arcanist.
to the 7 cards,
Yes.
which is the maximum.
But that is the absolute last thing that happens in a turn. So this is a Shallow Grave, which takes the topmost card of your deck and puts it on top. It looks like we're doing this purely to loot, which is interesting. And I think we're probably just going to reanimate that. Oh, Thoughtseize into Reanimate. This is
there we go. That's it.
So because we didn't actually see this card on stream, like resolve, but so Thoughtseize was going to check Eric's hand, see if there's anything preventing Nathan from reanimating. I'm pretty sure Nathan had literal reanimate in his hand. What he was going to reanimate is called Sire of Insanity, and what that does is, at your end step, all players discard their hands, if I'm not mistaken. Oh, yeah.
There you go.
At the beginning of each end step, each player discards his. So that was essentially going to have this 6/4 on Nathan's side, and then all players were going to be without hand. And we saw that Eric was on one land, really struggling to do anything, not drawing lands.
With no
not
one
keeping
mana
up.
answer to
and then
6/4 threat.
again, this might have been a situation where, well, you're in the finals, like
Wow.
Eric, maybe you just play it out, but it's like literally 0.001 chance of him coming back from that. So
both of them favoring expedited finals over.
they're keeping keeping the content good for you. That's
it. Nobody wants to watch 8 more turns of.
Well, it was gonna be over pretty quick.
It was gonna be
six
faster,
damage
that's true,
kills someone pretty quick.
Yeah, you got.
But yeah, they just want to keep the stream, chef's kiss for all y'all. Not that we told them to do that. That's just I guess
their choice,
their personal choice. So yeah, I guess we're going to the last game. Eric is going to be on the play.
Going to 3, just like it should.
And if I were to make a called shot on this, I'm going to see turn 1 Ragavan from Eric.
You're gonna. That's a call.
I think it's going to take run with the game.
I'm gonna go with a Darcy to start it off.
For Eric?
Yeah.
But is he going to win the game as a result of having this Dragon's Rage channel?
No, it'll be the recall he plays on turn 2.
Oh, okay. Fair enough. So
both keeping 7. It looks like fist bumps from both.
And I think I saw a Force of Will from Eric. So again, that's a really great interaction piece for him to stave off any shenanigans that Nathan's going to try to pull. And like what we saw that game, Nathan didn't have this like blistering, pitch something into the yard, try to reanimate it. Like he took his time, and like stuff like this
This is great. Thoughtseize again, yeah.
It makes sure that the way is clear for any stuff you want to do.
Yeah, Nathan's. Oh wow.
Ooh.
Wow.
Okay. So Eric opted to keep a hand that was very interaction heavy.
You take the counter spell. He's got the 1 blue spell left back there, which he's going to want to use because he's got nothing else going on.
Yeah, Eric decided, you know what? 4 lands, 3 spells, 2 of which are interactive. Like, but again, that doesn't win you the game. Like,
no, it stops him from winning the game. But
Eric
it
needs
does
to have
nothing
something to push.
I feel like one of those lands being one of your token generating creatures or Darcy or Ragavan or something makes that hand perfect. Not having anything to put any pressure on your opponent, and now he knows is tough. And like now you're stuck where you have this Force of Will and this Consider. Nothing else to make the Force of Will useful.
You almost
are you committed to now holding the Consider because 1 or 2 turns from now he could realistically be facing some gigantic threat that could end the game.
Yeah, absolutely.
You need another blue spell.
Yeah. I mean, so I'm not quite. Oh, okay. So Eric, this is end step on Nathan's turn. It looks like he's fetched for an untapped blue source, so it looks like he is going to cast the Consider.
Yeah, maybe he's just like, you know what, sitting here also doesn't make any sense. So.
I mean, it does also kind of put the fear of God, I guess, in Nathan that like, well, did he draw a blue spell? You know what I mean?
Now you're making him think like, what
but
does he
I
have?
mean, I don't know. Is the risk worth it? Like, does your opponent play into this
Nathan
blue spell you do or don't have?
Most likely can't go off this next turn. Most likely.
Right. It looked like Eric drew a Ledger Shredder, it looked like, so I don't think if he goes for it, he would be successful. But like, this is a perfect spell for Nathan because Eric now is like, well, do I counter this? If I don't, eventually this flips, and then they'll be able to like Nathan will be able to flashback the Thoughtseize and see if the way is clear again, and maybe just take the Force of Will at that point, and then Eric's actually going to be in a lot of trouble. So that was a perfect play by Nathan, like tempting enough that you maybe just need to, like I don't know, maybe Eric was supposed to counter
it though.
Yeah, maybe he wasn't able to, but if he was able to, is Eric supposed to?
Yeah.
I think he maybe had to because now he's just kind of
But now you're maybe hoping that you draw
Draw
one of those pieces of
yeah, that
interaction
you don't
want
otherwise
normally
draw.
to deal with it. And
That's true.
I think he drew an eyelet from what I saw. Maybe not.
It also does look like Eric is quite land heavy in his hand. Like he's drawn a lot of lands. Yeah. Some of the body language here telling me that Eric's not super pleased with the position that he's currently in, but it is kind of what it is.
Is that is it charm?
It was an Is It Charm, and what is that card? I have no idea what that card is. Is that into it? No, it was 2 mana. I don't know.
It was one of the draw spells.
It was something. Oh, Moment of Truth.
Okay.
I think that's what it was. So I think this is a newer spell from March of the Machine?
Yeah, it's Mom,
Right?
right? Or is that?
Oh,
Yeah, Aftermath from Mom then, maybe? Is it Aftermath though? No, I think it's a regular set.
Yeah, it's March of the Machine.
March of the Machine,
Yeah.
yeah, it's not.
So I think, if I recall, this is it's like a less powerful expressive iteration,
Yeah.
or it's kind of like Telling Time. Yeah, and so this is kind of what we were talking about a moment ago. So like end step,
Yeah.
he had enough cards in his yard.
To
He's
flip.
now flipped the Jace into
And now he's going to be
Telepath
able
Unbound.
to get that information that he needs.
He'll be able to untap and fire off a Thoughtseize if that's what if he wants to do. And like, he may not even need to or want to. He can just maybe like tick up Jace.
Yeah, I think I see
until he eventually is like.
I think I saw a Demonic Tutor in his hand as well.
Yeah. Doubling up on Demonic Tutor also sounds pretty spicy, right? I guess in this format, ultimating Jace Telepath Unbound is not the way to go. There's a lot more cards you're trying to mill from your opponent than in a normal 60 card format, and that was like what you would end up doing a lot with Jace. If you had the option to ultimate, you would do that. But still,
Having your bin
ticking up or
is,
flashing back whatever you want is really powerful.
So we got Charter Course coming in.
Yeah, it does look like that.
Again, another one of the discard outlets for the deck. I don't know, I'm not feeling super comfortable if I'm in Eric's seat right now.
No.
Like how you got to deal with that Jace while you also have to have something back to deal with the impending. So we got Force of Will on the Charter Course.
And see, like, if you were gonna
maybe
fire off the Force
Jace
of Will,
in the
why
first
didn't we
place.
do it on the Jace? Yeah, and granted, like, maybe just based on the texture of the game, like, he wasn't certain that was the right play at the time, and now it's like, oh, okay, if I don't do this, we're in big trouble. But this is really not looking good.
Rona back
Eric.
out.
Not back out. This is.
Oh, this next game.
Yeah,
back
different
again.
game. Oh
They're
my God,
in back
Rona's
again.
One thing I would be curious to see is if we see Rona getting flipped at some point in this game, because that ability when it gets dealt damage, you get to put something into play or something.
That's equal to the.
I should actually look at what Rona does. Rona March. Whenever a source deals damage to Rona, that source's controller exiles a card from their hand at random. If it's a land card, put it in the battlefield under your control. Otherwise, you may cast it without. Okay, so it's like
it's a bit of a.
If Eric hits it with like a lightning bolt kind of thing, then Nathan would take something from Eric's hand and potentially put it into play. And I guess Nathan could himself lightning bolt his own Rona. And maybe high roll like putting a Traxa into play, but unlikely. So yeah, I suspect that we might just see that as a looter.
I guess you could control it potentially with.
Oh, you have enough.
If you have
few enough cards in hand. But like,
yeah.
You go to burn your own thing, and then your opponent like kills it, and you just like wasted a bunch of.
We all
cardboard.
like watching people pull the slot machine.
I mean, yeah. Oh, cool plays are always appreciated.
Nathan can be a showman. He notably had the potential win in the last round, but gave his opponent a card to see if they could pull off the 3 damage for the win. Likes to live dangerously.
All right, we are back to shuffling the gathering, or wait, shuffling the format. Yeah. All right. So what are we getting with this Mystic Sanctuary? Notably, also Eric is missing red mana,
Yep.
which he could have gotten on that first turn when he decided to fire off the Consider by getting the untapped blue source. He could have maybe instead gotten Xander's Lounge, the fetchable tri-land.
Yeah.
I don't know if that's hindering him necessarily, and otherwise he has only blue land, so usually it's like I need a red and a black, right, to maybe do something relevant. So maybe that wasn't even the case, but this is maybe getting like Consider off
Look
the
for
top.
something.
I'm curious to see what he picks back up.
Do you take one of your counters to protect yourself?
Well, but the thing is, like, Jace just down
Yeah, that's
ticks
true, yeah, and
and
then it's
takes the
you do-
Thoughtseize and then recasts it.
That's it,
Yeah,
so it doesn't matter,
Consider
yeah.
is the play here. Okay, more lands. Let's get rid of those.
That Jace is just like out of range at this point.
Oh yeah, and
It
I
just
don't even
exists
think
in his world now, and that's it.
Eric doesn't look like he's playing anything like Dreadbore. Like he's playing Terminate, which I think in a lot of cases people might play like Terminate or Dreadbore,
and then
obviously
that's your choice.
benefits of having the instant speed over like being able to kill a Planeswalker. In this case, you probably might.
And most
wish
of
he
the
had
decks are
Planeswalker.
pretty Planeswalker light.
Yeah, but when there's a
But when there is
a
one-
walker, you really want that walker removal spell. Again, trade-offs, right? Like
Yeah.
how flexible.
And there's the C's
And
again.
there's the Thoughtseize. So,
Wow.
oh man,
That is not.
I think that might be
Good.
the death sentence here for.
They considered put the land in the bin and drew another one off of it.
And see, but like Nathan has to be careful here because if he tries to do something like really risky, like if he demonic tutors for say, I guess he can do this in a smart way. Like if he demonic tutors for, I don't know, a creature to reanimate on Eric's end step, he can put it in the bin with the Rona and then untap, cast the demonic tutor off the Jace, and then get the reanimation spell.
then
Actually, he
go.
had a reanimation spell in his hand even, so he can just kind of hold off on putting it away. And yeah, does not have to show Eric what he got with demonic tutor because you can just get whatever it is you want. So Eric's also probably wondering like, what fresh hell is this? What am I gonna have to deal with these 3 lands? What are they gonna help me do? Yeah, I mean, Eric had some really good draws throughout the tournament, and at this point,
Yeah.
I think the luck has unfortunately run out.
Yeah, his best draws were off his Mull to 5.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, okay, there is a world where he rips Ancestral Recall,
here and has a
then he's
hand,
all of
and
a
then he's
sudden
back
back
in the
into
game.
it.
This
Yeah.
is true.
So-
Let's see it. Why not? Let's manifest it.
Yeah.
Oh, no, it looks like Days, I think.
No,
Was it?
No,
No,
I
what
don't
was
think
it?
so. But he is passing.
Oh, why don't we just tutor some more?
Yeah, like, and so that's the thing here. Like, depending on what Nathan's planning on doing, or if he's thinking of actually going for some kind of reanimation target, he could maybe just get like duress, right? And just
And then
another
you just know.
hand destruct. Yeah,
Yeah.
you just know for sure there's nothing that Eric can do, and then
It's not
maybe do something.
it's not a bad idea at all. I think I would probably go that route.
Yeah,
Like he has literally one card to stop you with.
Right. He could also just go for like a value card, right? Like Sauron's Ransom. I don't think that was this game that he played it, so if I'm not mistaken. So
I
that
feel
might
like
be-
if you have the reanimate spell,
Yeah, but he's not.
He-
He's getting another reanimation
It's-
spell. Interesting. Okay.
did he
So-
have one in hand?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he has Necromancy.
Oh,
in
does
his
he?
hand. Yeah, the enchantment one that can be
Yep.
played at instant speed if you want. But I guess good to have secondary option.
Some redundancy.
Yeah. Okay, I was just going for draw discard.
There's Sauron.
Sauron!
The Grixis Lord himself.
This is the way this needs to end.
We
yes.
needed a flavorful ending for this.
Yeah.
Oh.
What's this?
Oh.
Force of negation.
Force of
Okay.
negation.
But
So
hey,
there you go,
I
he
got
has
this
the
other one.
second,
Hey,
yeah.
hey.
Yeah, that is another way to go about it, right? Like, even if he has a counter spell, then whatever.
That's right. Does he not? Oh, does the Sauron only have like a trigger when it's cast? I believe.
No.
What does
I
this
believe
card
it.
do?
It brings a creature back from the bin and it turns it into. Huh?
Wrong Sauron. This one has ward, sacrifice a legendary creature.
Oh,
Yeah.
this is the
Ward. So
yeah.
it's a 7/6 ward. Sacrifice a legendary artifact or legendary creature, neither of which Eric has in play.
Yes.
Whenever an opponent casts a spell, you amass Orcs 1. Whenever an army you control deals combat damage to a player, the ring tempts you. Whenever the ring tempts you, you may discard your hand. If you do draw 4 cards. Okay. I have a feeling this is going to go the distance. Like at this point, I think.
What direct removal?
Yeah.
Your edict's not going to work.
Right. The fact that he would almost need to like kill the Rona and have the edict on top of that.
Yeah.
Oh no, that doesn't even work because every time he casts a spell, he gets to amass.
That's true. Then you can just sack the amass token.
Oh no, Shieldred's edict lets you say a non-token.
Non-token, yeah, because it's either sacrifice token creature or sacrifice non-token creature
Right.
or planeswalker, I believe.
Yeah. Oh, so Eric did have a planeswalker answer.
There we go.
Yeah.
We got there.
Okay. Well, he's just chunking him for 12 damage. No big deal.
You could probably drown in the lock and pay the other 3 on the ward. That also works.
Pay the other 3.
Well, I think it has ward 3.
No, it has ward, sacrifice, and legendary
Oh,
creature
is
or
it? That's
artifact.
even worse.
Yeah,
Never mind.
he has nothing.
That's out of there.
That's it.
There it is.
The champion of our Highlander Invitational Tournament.
We let
inaugural.
Nathan do it.
Nathan.
We let Nathan do it. End of this.
Nathan is a very player of Highlander in our shop. Really enjoys the format. Good to see him take it down.
That's it.
He
No,
definitely
I'm
earned
happy
it.
for him. As much as we rag on him, he's.
We rag because we care.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You only insult the ones you love. No.
Sounds abusive. But anyway, so we're really glad that you were able to hopefully watch the tournament. Eventually, this will all be put up on YouTube. If I'm not
Frank will
mistaken.
get busy editing, and we'll probably chop it up round by round.
And we're not done just yet either.
No.
We are going to bring on Nathan, I think, to have a bit of like a
Tournament post-mortem
interview,
but like a positive one.
Yeah, presentation of.
Oh yeah, our glorious trophy,
which is a 3D printed phone holder turned to a card holder, which this is an arch enemy card because I think Nathan proved himself to be the arch enemy today, called All Shall Smolder in My Wake. And I think everyone did smolder in Nathan's wake today. So we will present this along with some prizing to
we got
our
some
players.
store credit prizing for everybody. Every single person that came out left with something because we don't want anyone coming in here and leaving empty-handed.
Yep.
For anyone not sure how this works, since we're going to have another one of these coming up 6 months from now, we run a qualifier tournament every last Saturday of every month. The winner of each of the 6 events qualifies for this invitational tournament. We, as a store, put some money into a pool per player that enters into all the qualifier events that we then hand out to all of the competitors at this event. We round it up a little bit, make it spicy, throw in a couple extra little bonuses and so on and so forth, so that the hard work that all of our committed players who have come out 6 times throughout the tournament get to enjoy the spoils. We also have the 2 best overall performers who get to join the 6 winners, so that encourages you to come out to more of the events. And even if you're not able to take one down, if you're consistent and good, you qualify and sneak in through those points as well too. The next one of these will be in January, as we'll have next week through December, being the 6 qualifier events leading into this. So again, if you're near Newmarket at all, come on out, play in those events. The group is amazing. Everybody is a lot of fun. Everybody makes fun decks. It's a good time. We're all laughing, having fun while we do it. It's competitive, but in the most positive way possible.
Yeah, and proxy friendly, which again,
Exactly.
to help people that are maybe just starting out with the format or looking to try things out, maybe try out different decks that they haven't played before, gives you a bit of an opportunity. And there's also, I think, a lot of players here. If you get to know us, we're willing to share cards and loan things out as
people
well. So.
Share decks, share cards, help out. We want everyone to play Highlander. That is the main goal of all of this. If we can grow the community as much as possible, it's a fantastic format, and hopefully increase how prolific it is.
Yeah, it's a great format. So I think we might just take a very short break here to get Nathan over.
I'm going to leave.
Yeah. Everyone say bye to Chris. Thank you so much.
It's been fun.
It's been
Adam,
a pleasure.
thank you very much for the technical knowledge on the combo decks that I don't have.
There wasn't that many combo decks, but the one.
There was the one.
Yeah, there was the one.
But no, it's been great. Always fun having you here, and thanks for coming out and giving your time to commentate. And
not a problem. Always a pleasure.
love you, buddy.
Yeah,
All
okay.
right. We'll be back in 1 minute.
Literally 1 minute. Literally.
And I will be here, and then I will.
All right. Welcome, everyone, back to the stream. We
Hi,
have
guys.
our newly
Yeah.
inaugurated champion of our Canlander Invitational event here, Nathan.
Yes. Hi, guys.
Congratulations again,
Thank you.
Nathan.
Thank you.
So first off, before we chat about the tournament and your performance, I want to present you with this very much still drying, spray-painted trophy with the "All Shall Smolder in My Wake" card, because
Excellent.
everyone smoldered in your wake today
Hooray,
on your way
yes.
to the
Thank
championship.
you very much. I am. It was a very fun day. Yeah.
A lot of what?
A lot of shallow graves out there.
I
that I
bet,
had to
yes.
dig up.
You
Yes.
showed us how shallow those graves were.
Yes. Yes.
So I want to ask you about, actually first, your deck selection
Yes.
for this tournament. So what made you pick Grixis Reanimator?
Reanimator. Well, I kind of figured coming into the field there would be a lot more of those fairer decks and creature-based decks, which Reanimator tends to thrive against a lot of the time. No, not everyone was on the deck that I put them on, but it still ended up working. Can't complain.
Yep.
But yeah, so I knew there would probably be a lot of creature decks. I figured there were a few red-based aggressive decks. So Reanimator tends to get out ahead of those decks and tends to have a pretty positive matchup against it.
And then lo and behold, round one, you face against Esper Reanimator.
Yeah, Esper Reanimator, which was arguably maybe my worst matchup in the room because of all of the white removal he was running, and I couldn't sorcery speed put a creature to my graveyard because we were both on like Animate Dead and Necromancy and Reanimate and stuff like that. So we had to do everything end step. I had to prioritize a lot of hand attack in that matchup.
Yep.
But in the end, I got it.
Got
So,
the W.
Yep.
And I think that, like, in terms of the plays, like best plays
Yes.
on the day,
Yes.
you mentioned already killing Rick in round 1 with the
Collective
brutality.
Yes, I got him down to 2 with an Archon,
Okay.
but Collective Brutality is also a burn spell if nobody knew.
Secret
yes,
alternate
I
mode.
had a Founding of the Third Path going to the 3rd chapter, and I double checked life totals. I'm like, oh, you're at 2. Yeah, I'm just gonna cast this Collective Brutality.
That's a way to kill someone.
Yeah.
Yeah. Any other sweet plays that we might have seen
Yeah,
on stream or that we didn't?
The Fury play probably
Yeah.
had a lot of people holding their breath.
Yeah.
But during my testing, just whenever I have an Entomb in hand, it's always been related to what creature goes in the graveyard.
Yep.
So I didn't really have the. Because I heard one thing I could have done was Entomb the Lightning Bolt, swing with the Dreadhorde, and actually. I actually drew a Prismari command off of the Gitaxian probe, so I actually
Right.
could have got rid of the blocker.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
I let it go to damage. I let it go to blockers beforehand, so
It worked
It
out.
happens, but
It worked out.
I got by.
It worked out. Yeah, and then like from what we were seeing with Eric,
Yeah.
throughout his games, he had a lot of like really good hands, especially against
Yes.
like
Especially the first game. He didn't have Ancestral in his opener, but
he
the
drew
the preor he saw it with the preordain, and then this it's never the first recall that gets you.
It's
And
always
I
the
kept
next ones,
I kept
yeah.
a very slow hand in that game 1, but I figured the game might have gone longer, but the recall in the early turns really
Yeah.
put me down.
Yeah, I mean, I really did like how you played that last game. Obviously,
Yeah.
I think Eric kept a hand that had he had maybe
Yeah.
like instead of one of those lands he kept had like some kind of an
Well,
aggressive creature.
He had a lot of reaction,
Right.
but he didn't have any pressure.
Yes.
So
He
he
needs
gave me
both.
he gave me time to like assemble everything I needed to,
Yep.
and he had to reserve his counter spells for very specific situations.
Yep.
So that led it to like he lets my Jace resolve, he lets my Rona resolve, and he has to kind of wait until
Yeah.
I play a spell, and eventually he's like, I can't fall behind. He casts the force on my cantrip,
Yep.
and then I just get to go ahead.
Yeah, that was one of the things I called out. Like him having to decide like, do I let the Jace resolve or not? Was I
Yeah.
think a pivotal moment in that game.
Yes.
Had he countered it with the force?
I mean, I
who
still have the
knows?
Rona, but then like Jace is also a threat in addition to everything else he
Yeah.
has to deal with as
Yeah,
well.
for sure.
And then,
But that, you got so much value
yeah,
out of Jace.
yeah,
like,
I got so
thought
much value.
seizing multiple times,
yeah,
and
then,
like it was crazy.
And then, as soon as I saw the coast was clear, the creature I chose was Sauron.
Yep.
Because of the ward ability, he had to not only have a removal spell, but it also a legendary creature in order to kill it.
Yes.
And I knew one of his ways he would get back into the game is kind of burning me out. So
Yep.
I didn't want a creature with very high mana cost to be
Yep.
able to death out of my graveyard. But in the end, it resolved, got into play, and then I could just flip the Rona, and the rest was history.
Right on. Any changes that you would make to the deck based on how things went today?
Maybe I wanted to try a couple of the cards. Like a lot of the decks run Dak Faden, but I figured the metagame here was very aggressive, which Reanimator is good against. But Dak Faden kind of seems like a really slow card in that, so
Yep.
I opted for Prismari Command over it because you still get the loot,
Yep.
and it's also an answer to something like a Dothy Voidwalker, Orcish
And
Bowmasters.
an
yeah.
artifact.
Yeah,
right?
exactly. Yeah, so unlicensed Hearse, but I don't think there were any in the field today. But
I think actually Freya, it sounds like, was playing unlicensed. Hearse.
yeah, okay, yeah.
Which that was also, we didn't get a chance to talk to you after that,
Yeah.
but that match was pretty crazy.
Yeah,
like,
that was-
that turn or the game 2 start that she had was
Yeah, that was
pretty
nuts.
insane.
Like almost 12 mana worth of spells by turn 3.
Yeah.
That was pretty crazy.
Yeah, that
And
was-
but then game 3, I had the grief, and notably, if Sauron's Ransom, because I was debating Sauron's Ransom or Dig Through Time, but I wanted to try the Ransom just
Yep.
to see how it was.
Yep. Seemed pretty
If,
good.
if
for
it
what
was
it's
Dig
worth.
Through Time, I actually wouldn't have been able to reanimate the Void Winnower on turn 2 because I needed an extra black card to be able to get the grief out, and then just to make sure the coast was clear, and then
Awesome.
yeah.
Yeah. Well, you took it home. Now all you need to do is, get ready for next week.
Yeah.
Get right back into the grind.
Yeah,
of
I'm
these
out of
tournaments.
town next week, but definitely the next month I'll be back.
There you go.
Yeah.
There you go. I know summer is always
Yeah, it's all
it's
over the
a
place.
kind of a crapshoot. Cool. Well, anything else you'd like to say before we kind of close, I guess, the stream out?
I mean, I guess if you haven't played,
Going to break.
we're gonna go to break.
Dave has an announcement and then.
Okay.
Yeah,
so-
perfect.
Yeah, go for it.
the only thing I'd say is if you haven't tried Canadian Highlander, definitely
Yeah.
give it a shot. My personal favorite format in all of Magic. Such a diverse deck suite you can play, and like a ton of play groups are really understanding with like proxies and
Yep.
play test cards and all that stuff. So definitely a lot of fun if you haven't tried it, and sometimes you even get some
And
prizes
sometimes
here.
you even win the tournament
Yeah,
on
exactly.
9 points.
On 9 points.
Not
yeah,
even
that's right.
full 10-point
Yeah,
deck
I guess
list.
a lot of people would question that, so I maybe should comment on that. So the main,
yeah.
so the main considerations I had for the 10th point were Imperial Seal, which I didn't necessarily like because I figured there might be a lot of black decks in the format.
Yep.
So
Opposition agent and
opposition
stuff.
agent and stuff like that, and the sorcery speed was just a little slow, and so you kind of need to pair it in tandem with a cantrip.
Yep.
So a card that needs other cards to kind of find its groove, I kind of wanted to avoid that. The other consideration was dig through time.
Yep.
But if it's in my opening hand, I
kind of dead.
I kind of need the cantrips to be able to set up for later. So I don't want cards that rely on me casting other cards first.
Yep.
And then the last consideration was Gifts Ungiven over Intuition, but I like the 3 mana over the 4 mana.
Yep.
Because light land count, you're pitching a lot of your lands while you're playing. So I was at the 9 points, but honestly, if people play Imperial Seal, Dig Through Time, Gifts Ungiven,
Seems
like
reasonable.
I think it's still fine.
Yeah. Awesome.
Yes.
Well, it was really fun to commentate. I think that's going to be it for me on the stream. We are going to have a very short break once more, and then we're going to have Dave come through with a quick announcement for you folks watching the stream. Dave and Frank. Sorry, apologies.
Dave and Frank. Frank and Dave.
You know, Frank, the man behind the the booth here, and once again, thank you so much. Congratulations.
Thank you, and thank you for commentating.
Thank you all for joining, and we'll be back in just a few moments.
Hi, everybody.
What's up, dude?
Hey. We haven't been on camera the whole time. It's so weird. We're usually like every single video. We're right there.
So this went really well.
And it was a lot of fun.
I just want to show up and say a couple of thank yous. Thank you for my round 1 competitor for slapping me into the dirt. And absolutely.
It was Freya, right?
Yeah, it was Freya. I didn't do so hot, but the tournament was great, so I don't really care. We ran 6 events, and then we did a top 8 qualifier of those 6 events.
Yes.
And
it was once a month events, right?
Yeah, it was once a month every Saturday, and we want to do that for the Highlander community because there's not a real Highlander community in Ontario. So like we kind of, me, Nathan, Rick, Adam, like we were kind of like the progenitors of the ETB store community, and we wanted to like really kickstart it. So
and it's gone so well.
yes, like we're getting average like 12, 13, 14 people every tournament, and we want more, and we want like people to come out and just like be aware that like we are trying to get this going in Ontario, in the GTA. So
So if you're even not in the Newmarket area, come on by. Last we posted on our Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. We have our Discord server, and we post it all on there. So you'll never not know when the event is.
Speaking of which, season 2 for Canadian Highlander is starting next week. So the first tournament of season 2 is going to be next Saturday, and we're going to start fresh. All the points are reset. We're going to do point total based on the event link points. So like they'll give points based on your placing, and that will be what enters you into the top 8 invitational at the end.
Right, because there's 6 people that qualify from winning, and then 2 people that qualify from points.
Right, but that was last time, and I think it kind of skewed everything a little bit.
Okay.
So we're just going to do points.
Oh, okay.
Just
points.
show up.
Do your
because
best.
if you show up to as many tournaments as you possibly can, you have a better chance of getting into the top 8 at the end of the year.
No, it's a quantity kind of thing.
Yep. And so this is the Newmarket store, 81 Davis Drive.
Yep.
And we do it the last month of every Saturday.
Last Saturday of every month.
That's what I said. And that's basically my shout out for this. And I wanted to do a bunch of thank yous. First of all, thank you for everybody watching the stream. Holy shit.
Yeah,
like,
it was. We kept a consistent 16 people, which is a lot for us.
It was just a lot for us. But like we're trying to like give a good quality show for you guys.
Yeah.
So I want to thank Rat B, Stephen Winters,
Stampius. It was.
Killer Z, TUN official, Scott Vapos, and
Dr. Inappropriate.
Docker.
That's all the people that followed
following the
today.
stream. I want to thank Chris for
Dude's awesome.
supplying the price bot as well, because like that was all out of pocket.
Yep.
And I want to thank you.
Me.
You.
What I do.
We helped put this up, but Frank did a lot of the graphics. Frank did a lot of behind the scenes work.
Yeah,
And
I
we set this up almost last minute.
It was like almost, but we were putting up all the hardware
there was a
last night.
bunch of stuff and a bunch of like things. So
Yeah.
good job, dude.
Well, thank you for getting all of this organized, and honestly, we couldn't do it without you, Dave. And I want to thank everyone for watching.
Yeah.
If you like this format, we can try and do it more.
Look at
Because this was a lot of fun, and I like this whole like aspect right here. I feel like a news broadcaster, like breaking news. But if you like our streams, we stream every Wednesday at it's between 6:30 and 7 o'clock. I think we're changing it to 6:30 officially.
Okay.
And that's when we're going to be starting all of our streams on Wednesday. We also stream on Saturday if you like Yu-Gi-Oh content.
We're going to be starting up Warhammer content very soon as well.
We're doing that too.
And we're going to stream more and make more videos and make more content.
And it'll just keep rolling. Additionally, our YouTube channel puts out a video every single day.
And if you follow us, if you comment, if you do anything, it helps us immensely.
So much. We're putting out skits on TikTok and YouTube Shorts and Instagram now a lot. So that's going to be good too. And just follow us on all our stuff if you want.
Yeah.
But that way you get notified. And speaking of notification, hit the bell on YouTube, subscribe, follow us on Twitch, and we'll see you in the next video. Bye.